旅立つ者たちがいる。8人の強者たちは宿命の糸に手繰り寄せられ、今ここに集う。宿命の舞台、等身大部会。何年かに一度開かれる。表の世界には知られることのない闇の舞踏大会。ある者は己のために、またある者は愛する人のために。全てをかけての戦いが今始まろうとしている。
Battle Arena Toshinden was the first 3D fighter to appear on the PlayStation and was advertised as an exclusive to the PlayStation and the Saturn killer. Well, yes, looking at Virtual Fighter on the Saturn, then looking at Toshinden on the PlayStation really did make the Saturn look sad. However, Toshinden is an awful 3D fighter, and it was also being developed for the Saturn alongside the PlayStation version, so it was never an exclusive, so to say. Anyway, what can we say about this below average 3D fighter? Well, it was the first 3D weapon-based fighter on a console, and was the first to introduce the sidestep movement, making for a truly 3D experience. Also, the advertisements would have you believe. The truth is that the game is very poor. The controls are very sluggish, making battles tough to play. The collision detection is also very dubious at times, making for some questionable deaths. The camera can also be an issue when it gets stuck behind the enemy character. And let's not forget the AI keeping your character facing in the wrong direction more times than you'd like. So yeah, as you can see, Toshinden is a pretty bad 3D fighter, but you know what? It still holds a special place in my heart, because it really was one of the first fully textured 3D fighters out there. And that's something to be proud of. The original PlayStation version was developed by Tamsoft, while the Saturn port was handled by Nextech and Sega. Going under the title of Toshinden S, or Battle Arena Toshinden Remix in the West, this port offers many enhancements over the original. Features such as an exclusive character named Cupido, and the story mode which enables the player to learn a few details about the characters' backgrounds and the reason why they had entered into the tournament. But what about the actual game? Well, the gameplay is just the same, no improvements at all. The graphics are worth discussing though. The Saturn game uses 2D zooming backgrounds to give a 3D effect rather than use 3D models like the PlayStation. The Saturn port also runs with lower resolution textures, giving the game a dirty look. Surprisingly, there are transparency effects in many stages. The final boss stage is quite impressive. The camera also gets closer to the characters, resulting in them being much bigger on screen than the PlayStation original. Sadly though, even with the bonus extras, the Saturn port is rather poor. especially when compared to the 60 frames per second high resolution Toshinden URA, which came a year later. It's still just the same crappy game found on the PlayStation, but with worse graphics and slightly harder AI.
旅立つ者たちがいる。8人の強者たちが宿命の糸に手繰り寄せられ、今ここに。
Here we go with the MS-DOS port, which is apparently based upon the PlayStation code. This was ported by Digital Dialect, and what a mixed bag it is. First off, I'm playing this without any fancy graphics card enhancements. So it's the stock look, running at 640 by 480 resolution at 60 frames per second. At first you'll notice how rough the floor textures look. They seem to be on par with the Saturn. The backgrounds are also reminiscent of the Saturn, but now lacking any of the parallax scrolling and zooming that help the Saturn port give a 3D effect. You're probably thinking that they are present when using a 3D accelerator card, but no, they're not. All that a 3D card gives you is smoother textures. So yeah, this PC DOS port is the most basic of all in terms of 3D complexity. Sound-wise, you can have either MIDI music or CD music. The DOS port uses the Japanese PlayStation version's voices and music in all regions, unlike the PlayStation version. Gameplay is also pretty similar, so no improvements there. This port does have a secret character, mind you. That's Earthworm Jim. He appears because the game was distributed by Playmates Interactive. He is not a great character to control, mind you, since he uses Rungo's moveset. In 1996, Takara ported Toshinden to the Game Boy under the title of Netto Toshinden. The game is based mostly on the original Saturn version, but includes a slightly altered story and an early appearance of the character Uranus and Battle Arena Toshinden 2 version of Gaia. You are seeing the Game Boy version running via a Super Game Boy, which gives us that lovely border and some colour. What it doesn't do is enhance the audio or gameplay, but that's fine. As you can clearly hear, the Game Boy renditions of the original music are fantastic. The game also plays really well, far better than any other version of Toshinden. I'm not joking either, this is a lovely little fighter for the Game Boy. Oh my god, what a load of crap this is. For those who don't know, this is Toshinden running on the Tiger Electronics R-Zone, a console that was nothing more than an LCD game in red. And not even a good LCD game. This version of Toshinden has no redeeming features at all. It's totally unplayable, sounds rubbish and looks as primitive as can be. I feel sorry for anyone who has bought one of these back in the day. And let's take a look at all those versions of Battle Arena Toshinden running side by side.